Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
It's time once again for everybody to come aboard that Green Screens Media train, recording live from somewhere. This is One and Done, your fast break for all things college hoops. On tonight's show, your boys in the boxes bring you an interview with Providence head coach Kim English. Yes, that's right. We sat down earlier today, me and your boy, earlier today with Coach English, and talked a little bit of college hoops and Friars basketball. It was a good conversation. We are glad you are here to see it. We're also going to give you a little Big East chatter tonight as well. Don't forget to check out our other interviews if you haven't seen them. All these coaches that we've interviewed, guys and gals, check them out. All that stuff, like our guy Eric likes to say at Fantasy Nav. He likes to say that content is evergreen, and boy, is it. And of course, we shall wait no longer. Our guy, El Capitan himself. He is the captain of the Green Screens Media ship. You can follow him on Twitter at MCHolland34. He is the OG Money Mike. That's Mike Holland. What it do, baby?
Yo, what it do, my friend? How much fun was that today talking to Coach English, man? So what a thrill. We're going to play that for you guys here in just a moment. What I've been up to, man, what do you think? Been breaking down conferences, A10, AEC, Big Sky, which if you watched the last show, we did a little mid-major minute there, so go check that out. Completed the Big South yesterday. Now I'm working on the Big West, man. So, hammering out these mid-majors. We're trying to get into mid-season form with these rosters, even though they're ever-changing. And I can't believe it, man. This is the last day in June, so we're into July. So just looking forward to everything that we got coming up. Check out our channel if you haven't. And, yeah, man, I don't want to hold this up, man. I'm ready to get to this interview that we were able to do today.
Absolutely. Make sure you like and subscribe to do your part in the Green Screens Media universe. And make sure to enjoy our conversation today. Me and Mike had a nice sit down with Providence Friars head coach Kim English. Hope you enjoy it.
It is my pleasure to introduce our guest today on the One and Done show, the new head coach for the Providence Friars, Kim English. Coach, thanks for joining us. How are you?
Mike, Jay, thanks for having me. I'm doing well.
Awesome, Coach. We really appreciate you taking the time today. So, Coach, you got your first head coaching gig on March 23rd, 2021 with George Mason. And exactly 2 years later, you're introduced as the head coach of the Providence Friars. What are you most excited about with this new chapter in your coaching career?
Oh, man, I'm really excited about every single thing. When I first decided to get into coaching, it was a goal of mine to compete at the highest level, for major conference and national championships. And, Providence is a place where we have everything in place to be able to do that. So now it's just about, creating, the right structure in our program and continuing to, attract the best players to make that dream consistently possible.
Hey, Coach, we're super excited. Just want to kind of take it back to, George Mason days. What are some of the things you're most proud of? And is there any specific aspects of that culture that you're looking to institute at Providence?
Yeah, we had some good, moments early on in our tenure and some really good road wins. We did some things that, hadn't been done at Mason. Mason had never won, I think, 2 true road games against Power 5 programs in the same season. We were very bold in our scheduling. We got a game against Coppin State canceled, and we went and scheduled at Wisconsin and at Kansas. This past season, it was the most wins in conference in the Atlantic 10 in George Mason's history. I think Josh Aduro is George Mason's best player in the Atlantic 10 era. And we went on a great win streak to win last season, 7 in a row, I think it was. So we absolutely did some things that we were proud of as we were continuing to build that place. And we were going to take the next step, the next season, returning Josh, returning Devontae Gaines, Justin Fernandez, bringing in some young freshmen that we were very excited about.
Providence Friars head coach Kim English joining us today on One and Done. Coach, you've had the opportunity to work as an assistant under coaches like Frank Haith, Rick Barnes, Tad Boyle. How did they shape you as a head coach, also as a man? And are there any other coaches along the way that maybe I left out that have influenced you as well?
Yeah, those three, absolutely. I played for Mike Anderson for 3 years in college. We had great success at Missouri. In the NBA, Lawrence Frank, Tom Thibodeau had a huge impact on me. But those three, especially, they all did an incredible job building programs. Frank at Miami, Missouri, Tulsa, Tad, Northern Colorado, and Coach Barnes on my exact path already, or I'm on his exact path already, George Mason, Providence, then him on to Clemson, Texas, and Tennessee. I learned so much from those guys, just about the day-to-day of what elite programs look like, what programs at the highest level look like, and eternally thankful and grateful of those guys and all they've done for me in my career.
Hey, Coach, I want to turn it over to your roster now. On paper, it looks very talented. And going into year one, you're bringing back several players from a very good team last year, including top contributors Devin Carter, Bryce Hopkins. What are your expectations for the guys that are returning?
Yeah, they're great. They're great expectations for really good players, like you said, from a really good team. But they didn't end their season the way they wanted to. So, we've been trying to get this group to be more connected. And, I've seen it so far. But the talent and the experience is undeniable. I think Devin and Bryce are NBA players. Devin's toughness, his physicality, his defense. Bryce's physicality, his rebounding, his ability to score the ball. Jaden Pierre, Corey Floyd, Rafael Castro. We're excited about so many of these guys that we got to inherit, and we feel like we are meshing in a group of guys that we know and feel will connect the group.
Yeah, you teed it up for me real nicely here, Coach. Obviously, the transfer portal and NIL are a part of everyday life for you, your staff, your staff around the nation at this point. Even with everything changing like seemingly day to day, yeah, you've got to be happy with how your rosters come together. How much of a luxury is it having some of your players at George Mason decide to follow you over to Providence to sort of mesh in with the guys that are returning? And how have you adjusted the way you manage your program to make sure you keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of college basketball?
Yeah, great questions. It's been awesome having those guys. It's been a huge help. My staff as well. It doesn't feel as new as it should, with having Justin, Josh, and Ticket, and having the group of guys that were already here. I really feel it in practices, right? The guys that were here, guys we inherited, got to get to know us in practices in the spring. And so there was that adjustment period. And then bringing in the guys that have known us, have played for us, there was no adjustment period, at least to us. So they have kind of taken on some leadership roles. Obviously, Bryce, Devin are leaders on this team. Jaden Pierre leaders on this team. But those guys are leaders just in understanding terminology, flow, the way we expect things to go. And it's really been cool to see the new guys and the old guys have connected really well with each other. And that's really, really important to me, that Our guys like one another. They enjoy playing with one another and for one another.
Yeah, that's absolutely important, Coach.
Yeah, college basketball is changing, like you said, and the way you make adjustments and that in those areas they change every day. So if it's recruiting, I mean, I don't even know if this has been announced yet, but there's new changes in jersey numbers. Players can wear any jersey number they want, 0 to 99. It's how to manage a locker room when, for the first time in college athletics, our guys are getting paid, for them to keep their focus on the main thing and understanding that their biggest brand is their game and the product we put on the court. So it's a full-time job, but I think at the end of the day, how you manage change, how you manage change, I still think authentic, organic values reign true, and we'll stick to that. And there's space for innovation where there's space for innovation, and I think there's a lot of room for old school, hard-nosed qualities that will still get the job done.
Hey, Coach, it's funny you bring up the jersey numbers. We had a conversation on that last week, and we wish 00 was added to that, but I guess we'll have to wait on that. But I want to talk about the Big East and, what unique challenges you think you'll face going into this conference, and, what's your outlook on the conference as a whole?
Oh, it's a great league, great programs, great teams, great players, great coaches. So I've been, studying the teams in the league this offseason, this spring and summer, and I got to spend some time with those guys at our league meetings, see them on the road recruiting. I've played against, coached against, and played against as a player, some coaches. I've coached against some of these coaches as a coach. And I've had relationships with some of these guys for a long time. So I'm really excited about embarking on the challenge and being able to compete in one of the best conferences in college basketball.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Coach Kim English here of the Providence Friars joining us today on One and Done. You talked about keeping the main thing, right? That's one of the many tasks that you have to deal with this offseason. You talked about your staff earlier. We talked about your roster, everything else that comes with taking over a program. Let's push that aside for a second. It's summertime, Coach. I know the portal's still open. I know there's still stuff going on. Do you have time for a vacation this summer? Are you going to be able to disconnect for a little bit? And do you have any hobbies that you like to dive into when you have the time?
Yeah, no, our league meetings were in Ponte Vedra, Florida. So that was a nice getaway. After our meetings, we went and played golf one of the days. No, I don't. It's good. We have 4th of July right now. I'm actually going to head to Denver tomorrow and watch the Denver Nuggets in summer league practice. And then it's work. We're getting ready for our foreign tour in Spain. We're going to August. We're going to Spain in August. We're going to August in Spain. Yeah, we're going to Spain in August. So that'll be a vacation, kind of. We'll get to play 3 games. I'll play maybe 1.5 game with what I think is a true 8 to 9 man rotation for us. And I'll play another 1.5 games with a bunch of different funky lineups and combinations. Try things just to get it on film and see how guys do under the whistle. So that'll be a great trip. But, still recruiting always. And we're going to head recruiting next week for the class of 2024 and 25. So it never stops.
Absolutely.
The man gets no rest. I swear, no rest.
Yep. Yeah. Hey, finally, Coach, what are some things Providence fans can expect from the future of this program?
We're going to sustain, what Coach Cooley and, Coach Patino and Coach Barnes and Coach Gillen and Coach Welsh and so many coaches in the past have done. Coach Mullaney, Coach Gavitt, this is Coach Mullaney and Coach Gavitt's program. and it's well respected around the globe. And they're going to be proud of the product we have on the court. They're going to be proud of how hard our guys play, how connected and together our guys play. And they're going to be proud of these young men off the court as well. It's a big part of what we do is we're preparing these basketball players, these student athletes, to be great citizens. So they are great players. They will be a great team that competes and contends, but they'll be young men that Friar fans can be proud of long after their playing days are over.
Head coach Kim English of the Providence Friars. Hop into the Big East. Make sure you're checking them out. Good things to come from Coach English and those Friars. Coach, we really appreciate the time today. You taking the time to join us here on One and Done. Good luck in the upcoming season. I hope you get like 24 hours where you can just sit and not do anything. I know it's probably not going to happen, but good luck this season. Good luck getting everything accomplished that you want to, and we're going to enjoy watching you, man. Have a good one.
Well, you know, Jay, and coaching, whenever you're about to get that 24 hours, something happens. So,
of course.
Absolutely.
Something just happened. I don't know about it yet. Like, somebody on my team probably just went to Portal. I don't know.
Yeah. And you broke it live here on One and Done. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, I'm probably about to get called.
Coach, we appreciate you, man. Thanks a lot. Have a good one.
Thank you.
What an interview. Kim English, thanks for joining us today. Earlier today, got to have that conversation with the Mike. I came away so impressed with him, his demeanor, the way he presented himself. Like, it made me, I believed everything that he said. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm saying that because that plays really well in recruiting. And I feel like he's genuine, and he just gives off that vibe. Like, when he talks about wanting the players to want to play for each other and to like each other, and how that's such a big part of what he really, in his culture that he's creating. It was really great to hear that as being like one of the top things. That's not always something that you hear coaches immediately like go to. So anyways, that was pretty impressive for me. What'd you think about that, man? That was
it was good stuff, man.
Good stuff,
yeah, for sure. I think for me, it's kind of crazy to think that he's entering year 3 of his head coaching career at the collegiate level, which it does not feel that way when you speak with him. It feels like he's been doing it for 10, 15 years. So, obviously we've seen what he's been able to do with his roster in year 1. And I'm excited, man. Like, this Big East, we're going to talk a little bit about it. It is going to be a battle royale. And, I've got a lot of confidence in what he'll be able to do. First year, George Mason, a little rocky here and there, but, last year obviously really came on strong. He talked about all the accomplishments they were able to, to make. And here we go, man. This is the big time show here headed over to Providence. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's impressive. It's an impressive run. And Azar, Cooley leaving and leaving that vacancy there. It might not have been something that they thought was going to happen. And I think they did really well for themselves in their program in getting Kim English onto their campus for sure. Hey, thanks for hanging around with us and watching. We see you hanging out there in the lobby. Why don't you drop us a comment? Just say hey if you want. Let us know. Show Coach English some love if you want. And smash those like and subscribe buttons if you can. Support us and do your part in that Green Screens Media universe for show. Getting that for show. Mike, big time stuff there. And thanks again to Coach English for joining us today. As I mentioned at the top, and let me go ahead and now introduce myself since I didn't at the top of the show. I'm just so eager to get to Coach English and then get to Mike. Yeah. I am Jay Heinrich at Dr. William Cannon on Twitter. I am the conductor of that aforementioned Green Screens train. There we go. We got it in. That's OG Money Mike. You know the deal with him. That's our guy, and was happy to be in the booth with him today to talk to Coach English. Let's move on now to a little Big East chatter, Mike. What's going on over there in the conference of the coach that we just spoke to?
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot going on, man. I mean, you got the reigning national champions who look poised to have another big year. We're talking about, of course, the UConn Huskies. They do lose, your boy Andre Jackson. You're sad to see him go. Sanogo out the door. Hawkins getting picked, I believe it was 14th, right? So he ended up making the lottery there. And they still have a ton of talent coming back. I mean, you got Donovan Clingan, Tristan Newton's back, a top 5 recruiting class coming in. Cam Spencer was a huge addition, kind of going to fill that Jordan Hawkins role, right? Coming over from Rutgers. Marquette should be strong again. It was a thought that they might get all 5 starters returned, but, old OMP there headed off to the draft. But you still get Cam Jones, Tyler Kolick, Idadaro's on the way back. So, Shaka should be able to do some things. We'll see if they can get it done in the tournament. And then St. John's, you can't count out Rick Pitino in year 1. I mean, a huge transfer class. We've talked about that on previous shows. And probably the biggest thing that gets lost is that Joel Soriano is returning, which one of the top bigs in the entire country there. So look out for St. John's, even though it's almost a tear down and rebuild there in year 1. Creighton, man, you lose Nimhart and Kaluma, but you bring back Shireman, Alexander, and Kalkbrenner from those big 5. And then you add Stephen Ashworth, the point guard from Utah State, who's a really good shooter. I think he's going to fit the system well, man. So, what do you got, man? I mean, what are your thoughts on Xavier? And you can't leave out Providence, man.
Yeah, year 2 under Sean Miller there for the Musketeers, losing 4 starters. Obviously, you never really like to, if you're a coach of any sport, of anything, anywhere, any team, losing 4 starters is not a great thing, but especially on a college basketball team. But, of course, getting Zach Fremantle back after that foot bothering him again, right? Like he's had some issues, but you don't like that those extremity injuries that just keep lingering. Yeah. You don't really like him, a big man, and he's missed a few games, throughout his career. But when he's on the floor, I mean, nearly a double-double, and somebody that we like to pay a lot of attention to. So yeah, Fremantle, and obviously. When you lose 4 starters, you got to get in the transfer portal, and that's what Sean Miller's done, getting some good guys out of the portal. So, good job. Wouldn't expect anything less from Coach Miller there. Xavier looks to, just keep that ship sailing. And, of course, Providence coach Kim English, as he alluded to earlier, retained Bryce Hopkins and Devin Carter, who are, in Coach English's words, they're the guys on that team, right? And he's brought in some guys from George Mason along with him, and they're meshing well together. Like I said, Mike, you really got to like the sort of culture when you lose the head coach of a program and basically your 2 leaders stick around, and that is the foundation for what you're trying to do. Man, like that just
that's got to feel good. It's got to feel good. So I think he's in for a big year in year 1. We'll see, right? I mean. Look, not everyone can win 10 league games. It's going to be a battle day in and day out in the Big East. I'm absolutely looking forward to it. And it was kind of funny there at the end. Maybe a tease or something. I don't know, Coach English. We'll see. Kind of anybody can jump in the portal at any time. So we'll see, man. You think he was kind of clowning around with us there?
I don't know, man. Like we always pay attention to the portal news, obviously, but. If something pops up, for Providence, would we be surprised? No, it's just how college basketball is these days, man. Yeah, it is what it is. So thanks again to Providence Friar head coach Kim English for joining us tonight. I am Jay Heinrich at Dr. William Cannon on Twitter, that conductor of the Green Screens Media Train. He is the OG Money Mike, the Capitan, El Capitan himself, I should say, the captain of that Green Screens Media ship. I'm the train guy. He's the ship guy. Our guy at Fantasy Nav is not on the show tonight, but he's never far away, and he might not be driving something. Because he's the Baron of Bread, but he's hopping along with one of us along the way. Make sure you show him some love and all the work he does by hitting those like and subscribe buttons. I'm Jay. He's Mike. This has been One and Done. Shout out to Jackson Shellstad. Missed you again tonight, but we'll try to get you again on the show soon. Have a nice day. Let's get this bread.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.